Hey guys, let's talk open houses. So funny, this week one of my newer coaching clients, a young lady in Orange County, California, she asked me, hey Patrick, now that we can do open houses again here in California, could you share with me some of your best ideas and practices? And I was like, sure, but why don't I do a video for you and get that off to everybody else? At the same time, the Tom Ferry Coaching Company asked me to do some video training for them in the new Tom Ferry Trading Portal, which is amazing, and they want me to cover some of the best practices with open houses. So I wrote down a bunch of things that I just want to share not only with you guys, but also inside the trading portal. I'm going to go into way more depth on this. So let's dive in. There's three things I wanted to cover basically with you guys today. Number one is the mistake that listing agents are making, and I want to help you solve that problem. Number two, best practices on how to create more clients from your open houses. And then number three, for my new agents out there, I know a lot of you are looking at how do you get more open house opportunities. So I'll address that at the very end. So let's dive in and let's get into number one, the big mistake that I see with listing agents. Okay, when I ask a new coaching or a coaching client of mine, I say, oh my God, that list, they say, I got this new listing, I got it under contract. I say, great, did you do an open house? A lot of say, no, I was too, This reminds me, back in about 2015, when I was going on a lot of listing appointments with my father-in-law and business partner, Kai Bonsack, here in San Diego, California, and we were coaching with the great Eileen Rivera, and one of the best listing agents and Tom Ferry coaches. She helped us with something because we were kind of struggling with that same thing. We were kind of rushing every listing we were getting. We're so excited we get it on the market, and we couldn't get these mega open houses that Tom was telling us to do. We didn't have enough time to plan it, and we'd still sell the house and get multiple offers. Sound familiar? So what Eileen basically said, she said, hey guys, print out a month at a glance blank calendar, bring it on the listing appointment, put it down on the table, grab some pins, and then prioritize with them when the open house is going to be, and then when you're going to put the property on the MLS, when the pictures needed to be taken, when the staging was going to be done, how much time they need to clean and get the house prepared, and map out the whole calendar with the seller at that time, which then gave all of us as listing agents more time to actually plan and prepare, get great marketing done, but it also helped the sellers to realize that this open house was important. Okay, that's number one. Number two was I learned a few things about how to explain the value of the open house to the seller. And, we really kind of figured out, contrary to popular belief, that open houses don't sell a house. And, I would agree that it doesn't sell the house, but it definitely helps increase the demand. It increases the number of buyers who come into the house. And if you do a good job with increasing the number of people through the house, it can psychologically improve the quality of the urgency of the offers and also increase the multiple offer scenario. Now, today in our low inventory, high buyer demand environment, it's not an essential piece to the puzzle, but it definitely helps. So explaining that to the sellers, that this is part of your marketing strategy to increase the buyer demand and the offers and the value or the price that you can get for them, giving you more leverage in your negotiation. Okay, besides all of that kind of basic stuff, the second thing that I just realized was this was great for the sellers. Here's why. Because instead of on Thursday evening from 4 o'clock to 6:30, a bunch of buyer showings during the week, right? Kids and life and family, we can basically get all the buyers to come in during the weekend, in which the whole world can plan for them to show up over the weekend. For all the other agents in the marketplace who are working with the buyers are obviously super appreciative, so that saves them a showing so that they can send their buyers to the open houses. So I think it's generally just good for all of us to have those open houses and to have them scheduled so we can filter in more people into a shorter window of time. Great for all. So very simple. When I explain that to homeowners and sellers, they're actually appreciative. They're like, yeah, thank you, because Thursday, I would have had to tell you no showings on Thursday night, and I would have had to tell you no showings on Friday afternoon, and it would have been very disruptive. So they were appreciative, and I found the community was too. So simple thing. Let's get on to number 2. Let's dive into some best practices for you to increase conversion. Now, I'm going to cover a few fundamental things real quick, okay? And then we're going to dive into advanced conversion strategies on how we can get buyers and sellers to actually want to work with you and ask you if you would have time to meet with them later on that week. That's a pretty bold promise. But it starts with the first thing. Number 1 is preparation. See, I found even for myself, if I prepared during the week and I prepared for the open house and did my research and I studied and I really looked more closely at how to be prepared for buyers and sellers and have great conversations, that's usually when I was successful. So here's the question. What questions do you think your perfect buyers are going to be asking you that you need to be prepared for? What questions do you think a neighbor who's considering selling their house, what questions do you think that they would ask you that we need to be prepared for? See, I don't know about you guys, but I found that if a buyer or a potential seller came into my open house and they asked me some technical questions about the house, about the neighborhood, about some of the comps, about some of the price per square feet, about some of the other models, and they asked me some questions about the school and then about traffic and about technical things. And when I didn't know the answer, it felt like I literally lost credibility in that moment. And trying to convert them was an uphill battle. So how do you prepare? That's how we prepare. We prepare for making sure that you know everything you need to know to be ready for the perfect customer who's going to ask you probably a technically good question, and be ready for that so that you can impress them and that they would actually go, wow, that agent knew their stuff, was professional, therefore I'd want to spend more time with them. Basically, guys, I realized that at an open house, we are auditioning to potential buyers and sellers. We are auditioning our professionalism, our knowledge, our expertise, and our wisdom. And see, when I treated it that way, that's when my results went through the roof. Literally having people ask me for my card, ask me if they would like to spend some time with them and come over and take a look at their property is when I leveled up my game. Okay, so preparation, really important. Let's go. The next thing I wrote down here was simple thing. Making sure that you schedule enough time in the weekend to do the open house. Simple. If it's a 3-hour open house, give yourself a minimum of 1 hour before, right? Solid 30, 20 minutes to get there, with traffic. Solid 30 minutes to get signs down, to get to the house early, to get in, open the house up, be totally relaxed and prepared. I know this sounds silly, but come on, guys, all of us have we cut that time short. It was super stressful. Okay, so let's plan in advance for a solid maybe hour minimum, hour and a half before the open house to give ourselves a 3-hour window and at least an hour to break down. That way you can schedule appropriately with your friends, your family, and your weekend, and to give it enough time that it deserves so you're not stressed. Simple advice. Let's move on to the next one, which is basically what everybody is going to ask me, which is, Patrick, how do I increase the traffic, get more bodies into the open house, right? Maybe you're doing an open house on the second weekend. Maybe you're doing an open house during the week. Maybe, if you're a new agent, you don't get that, the best Sunday. Maybe you get the second Saturday, or you get a weekday. So there's some tricks here. Let's just go over the basics. Tom has always said, hey, get more signs out. 20, 30, 40, 50. Couldn't agree more. I tested this for myself in the beginning of my career. I remember I had a great listing. I had 6 signs out. Traffic was light. Then I increased it to 10. Traffic increased. Then I increased it to like 18. Traffic dramatically increased. And so then this goes back into preparation. So I actually started pulling up the map and really looking at where are the big traffic, where's the big traffic flow? That was one thing, so I can make sure that I can drive enough off the big traffic streets, drive them into the community. And then the second thing is what everybody wants, is I want to talk to more neighbors at the open house. So a couple tricks here. Of course, inviting the neighbors to the open house, whether or not it's a door drop, a door knock, a ringless voicemail, or whatever, flyers. Yes, get those neighbors to come over to the open house. Next, I just actually created a little sign writer that just sat on top of my open house sign that said, neighbors welcome. And then when I looked at the map, I looked at all of the different corners inside the community that I can put an additional sign that says neighbors welcome. So I wanted all of those neighbors inside the community to come over to the open house. And I found that dramatically increased the number of people that would show up to the open house and increasing the value to me. So I highly recommend both those strategies. Of course, anything you can do on the social channels and video and promotion of the open house, you should do that. But these are just kind of 2 little simple tricks. All right, let's take a look at kind of what I think everybody is looking for is, hey, what are the skills, presentation skills, sales skills, sign-in skills, so that we can increase the number of clients and appointments that we would book from the open house. So I want to help you here, because I know for me, when I first started, I started as a real estate agent, new agent in San Diego. Now, I'd been in the training industry for a long time, but I've always was obsessed with, the seller side. So open houses was kind of a new game for me. It was a new market. I'm not from San Diego, so I didn't know much. So I actually did a lot of open houses without creating a lot of success for like 2 years. Did like 3 open houses a month for 2 straight years and only sold 1 house. Yikes, right? Then, so it was really frustrating for me because I was looking at all of the traditional things. Get them to sign in, ask all of these qualifying questions, the same questions that everybody teaches, right? And then, get follow up, call them 50 times, emails, videos, text, all kinds of stuff. And I just found that none of it really worked. So I finally reverse engineered this with this question. What could I do that would cause them to actually be attracted to want to work with me? Different question. See, I found that most of the traditional stuff was like being a vampire, like go get them and suck their blood and take them home, and it had too much of this like get them vibe, or qualify them, like see if they're qualified. Did you get pre-qualified? Did you get like no. I found a lot of the stuff completely didn't make sense to me. And when I studied the best of the best, I found some nuances there. So let me give you, 3 qualities and characteristics of what people are attracted to, and then how to present that. And then, of course, I'm going to share with you the 2 types of buyers that we need to be ready for, so that you can speak directly to the 2 buyers and help them and create appointments with them. So let's take a look at the 3 qualities that would allow people to be attracted to you. Now, what do I mean by attracted to you? When I actually was getting really good at this, no kidding, I had a guy say to me, hey Patrick, do you have a pen? Do you have a piece of paper? I said, yeah, sure. I went and grabbed it, and here you go. He sat down at the table And he said, I want to write down all my information, and I want to write down everything that I'm looking for, and I want to give it to you so you can help me find it. See, he asked me for a pen and a paper, wrote everything down, and then said, please help me find this. See, that's what I'm talking about, right? So let's take a look at the 3 qualities. Number 1, the buyers are attracted to the hyper-local expert. The hyper-local expert. So what do I mean by this? Because Tom has talked about this for years. You gotta be the hyper-local expert. Here's a very simple example of that. What I noticed, the average real estate agent at an open house will say, hey, welcome to my open house. Here's a flyer with all the basic information that they already read on the MLS, and they already knew it when they walked through the door. And if they gave some information like, hey, this is such a great 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square feet, and it's, this community is amazing. They already know that information. So the hyper-local expert really shares information that they didn't know, that there wasn't already something that they read in the MLS. Again, this is where preparation makes the difference. So, I would ask this question, hey, how familiar are you with this neighborhood, this community, this, these floor plans, this price point, this whole thing? I would ask a familiarity question so that I knew what they knew, and then I could share all the stuff that I knew that they probably didn't know. That was when I really started saying things that they were like, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Oh my gosh, that's good to know. And I was sharing contextual information about how to view this property. Okay, hyper-local expert knowledge and information. Okay, number 2 is the average person, the average buyer out there is attracted to the agent that demonstrates technical real estate knowledge. Technical real estate knowledge. Now, what do I mean by that? Here's what I want to say. Okay, just think if you were a fix and flip expert. Okay, fix and flip expert. So most of you guys understand that, like, when you're showing property and you say, and the buyer asks, like, hey, I hate that this wall is here. Could we open this up and make this an open floor plan? And most agents are like, I don't know. We could, just talk to a contractor about that. Fix and flip. An expert would be like, yep, knock, knock, knock. This seems hollow. Absolutely, probably take this thing down. It doesn't seem like it's, stable. I've worked on things like this before. We take this wall out. We can do this. And oh, by the way, those windows this and this floor is that. And, I got a guy. I've got a contractor. It'll probably cost you about this much money, blah, 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 blah. Technical real estate knowledge. See, would you rather be looking at property with an agent that had a lot of technical real estate knowledge, or an agent who had no technical real estate knowledge? What if they're in a price point but they wanted to be in this neighborhood, but they were in a price point where they were going to have to buy a house that really needed to be fixed and improved over time? Did I want to be with an agent that had a lot of technical knowledge, or an agent with not a lot of technical knowledge? Hello. This is where, guys, we need to do more preparation, and we need to become more effective as real estate professionals. Okay, because it really makes a big difference. After I had, personally, my wife and I had flipped now multiple homes, remodeled a bunch of homes, that's when all of a sudden I actually did know quite a bit. And when I share that stuff, people were literally like, whoa, they wanted me to be with them on the next property that I was going to show them. I became so much more valuable and resourceful for them. Makes sense, okay? Do some homework. Number 3 is that there's some technical advantage working with you versus anyone else. Some technical advantage. So this could be translated in a variety of different ways, but is there some reason why you versus someone else? And if you can demonstrate that, that's what they would be attracted to. Okay, so there's your 3 things that I discovered. Now, how do you present this in a way? See, instead of at an open house sitting back asking people to sign in, what I did is I started to learn that why don't I meet them at the door, introduce myself like a professional, and then give them a presentation. And I can map the presentation where I line in all of those things: hyperlocal knowledge and expertise, really cool technical real estate knowledge, alluding to that I had knowledge, wisdom, and expertise that was an advantage. Could I give them a presentation and then say, hey guys, go on in, make sure you sign in at the counter, right? And then come back and let me know if you have any questions about this property. See, when I found that I gave a great presentation on their way in and then sent them through on their way, they'd all circle back around with me. Then they'd all sign in a lot easier, right? Versus just like, hey guys, would you please go sign in? And then you stalk them around the house being all weird, right? So I found that that made everything significantly better. Better for me and better for them. Less awkward for everybody. Hey guys, I'm Patrick. Nice to meet you. Welcome to my open house. I'm the listing agent. Hey, I'm a buyer's agent. I'm here on behalf of the listing agent to help out today, right? Let me share with you a few things about this property and then I'll let you guys, come through the home, right? Real quick. How familiar are you guys with the neighborhood? Oh, you're not? Great. Blah, 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 right? Work on your presentation. Do you see now in your preparation how much more we really do need to work on our preparation? Okay. The two types of buyers that you need to be ready for. Number one, the research phase buyer. Hey, how familiar are you with this neighborhood? We're checking it out for the first time. Research phase buyer. Number two, the transaction phase buyer, the buyer that's ready to buy now. Hey, how familiar are you with this neighborhood? Really familiar. Have you seen a lot of houses in the neighborhood? All of them that have been on the market. Have made any offers? Yep, we made an offer on the last one, and so we're hoping that maybe this is going to be the one. The ready to buy now buyer. Okay, so my request is have a good offer for the research phase buyer. Have a good offer for the transactional phase buyer, the ready to buy now buyer. What's a good offer for the research phase buyer? Hey, if you like this neighborhood, have you checked that neighborhood out? Have you checked this one out? Have you met with a real estate agent yet? Have you done a buyer consultation yet? Has anyone reviewed with you some of the challenges and how to prepare yourself to be able to navigate this market successfully? So, blah, blah, blah. Buyer consultation, offer. Then for the ready to buy now buyer, hey, has anyone reviewed with you all the off-market opportunities to see if you can find a property that's not on the MLS? Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Right. So make sure that you're working on being ready for the ideal, perfect buyer customers to be able to attract them into an appointment with you. There you go. So let me look at my notes here real fast. And let's talk quickly about, the sign-in process. I think most of you kind of know what to do. I think there's a little bit of positioning that we need to do. So make sure that you have access to meet people at the front. Make sure you have a good sign-in position, kind of behind you where you can say, please sign in here. This is important, right? Give them the presentation, ask them to sign in. It's convenient for you to, when you follow up with them, that if they didn't necessarily sign in, when they start engaging with you, you can go, did you guys sign in? Did I get all your information? Love to follow up with you, right? Or if they say, hey, I have a card, you can say, hey, grab the piece of paper. I've grabbed the sign-in thing and I've made a lot of notes. Hey, I want to make some notes about our conversation. And I go in and I make some notes on the piece of paper. I kind of like the paper. Some of you guys like the electronic. Whatever works best for you, do it. All right, my new agents, you've waited this long. It's looking at the clock, it's 24 minutes. Let's help you get more open houses. I know you need more opportunities. So I wrote down 4 things in my notes right here to help you new agents get more opportunities with open houses. Okay. In a low inventory environment, it's hard to get an open house. So I get that. So you got to be actually way more on the ball. Okay. Strategy number one, build great relationships with the top listing agents in your office and in the marketplace. This is where reputation matters. You're showing up to, the office. Are you creating a good relationship with the broker? Are you asking the top agents for coffee? Are you asking them great questions? Are you, just really being a professional team player in your environment? See, I found when you build good relationships with the top agents, and then you ask them, hey, if there's ever an opportunity for me to be able to do an open house for one of your listings, I would be honored. I would be thrilled. I would treat it like it was the most important, appointment, and I would make you look good. Very important. Your reputation with the top agents is the difference between you getting the really, really good open house opportunities and for them to be like, I want you to do the open house because I trust that you're going to treat it and me with respect. Very important. Number two, new agents, look for vacant properties. Vacant properties. Okay. See, I'll find vacant properties and, I'll see them come up if I'm watching the market a lot in my farm or my geographic territory and I'm looking for open houses. Find the vacant properties, call those agents right away. Hey, any availability for me to do an open house during the weekend, during the week? And you will find tons of opportunities. Okay? Vacant properties. Get on that. Number three, out of area brokers or kind of the random brokers. See, an open house that I converted two buyers in. I sold for $2 million, two buyers. It was this kind of out of area boutique broker who had a listing in my farm, and I harassed her to get that opportunity, and I got it, and I made 2 sales from that open house. She was never going to do an open house. So look for that kind of random brokerage, because let's just face it, if you're with one of the big brokerages and there's another big brokerage, most likely they're not going to let you, right, do the open house for them. But some of these small brokerages, boutique brokerages, right, I love the property managers. The property managers are a great opportunity. So if you see it's with a property manager, give them a call. Send them a really nice professional text, right? Letting them say, hey, great listing, right? I know that area really well. I would be thrilled and honored to have the opportunity to do an open house. If there was any availability or opening, please, 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 I would be thrilled to be able to do that. Let me know. Polite, professional, enthusiastic. Make sure that you are doing that. I did that a bunch. I remember I was doing a broker caravan, a great local boutique broker, independent, was doing the broker caravan, vacant property in a killer neighborhood. I went over to the broker caravan, met him, introduced myself, complimented him, and then I asked, hey man, if there was any chance for me to get an opportunity at the open house this weekend, I'd be thrilled. I don't care if it's Saturday or Friday, if there's any opportunity, I'm in. Like, I'd be really appreciative, respectful, enthusiastic, right? And so he's like, yeah, I've had a few requests of it. He's like, give me your card, right? Because he liked me, right? Because I was being respectful, polite, ask a bunch of questions, congratulate him on the listing. Gave him my card, boom, next thing you know, I got the call. Hey man, Saturday's open, would you like it? Yep. Did the Saturday, picked up a client, $800,000 buyer, boom, just like that. Because I went the extra effort. New agents. Last but not least, for sale by owners. Okay, so it's part of the strategy with for sale by owners to go and build a rapport and do an open house for them. Okay, so I've done many open houses for sale by owners. Some that they just sold on their own, Some I created clients from. It was awesome. A funny example of this was great open house in one of my real prime geographic territories. I built a good relationship with him. He definitely was committed to doing it himself, but this is such a good neighborhood, such a good open house. I did it, and he ended up selling it. And you know what's funny? He sent me a $60 gift card to one of the local restaurants in appreciation and wrote me a 5-star review on my Zillow profile because he was appreciative of what I did and how I helped him, even though I didn't get a sale and I didn't get the listing. So, hey, new agents, just go be a good person, go be polite, be professional, and ask for the opportunity, and you'll be surprised what you get. All right, so this was a long one. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to do way more in the Tom Ferry training program for the group there, but here's just a good summary of some of the basics as we're moving into 2021. Now that California is opened up again, let's get out there, let's do some great open houses and pick up some clients. Have a great day. Let me know if I can help you.